How's it going, YouTube? In this video we have yellow hybrids going up against Yellow Agubond. So I've shown a bit of my yellow Gabubond, but Yellow Agubond still seems like it's like the actual way to play that combination, so we're gonna see how it works out here. I wonder if that's a good matchup for yellow hybrid or not. The yellow Agubond has good finishing power with the Bond of Bravery, obviously, traction security and whatnot, but it might be hard for him to get chip damage with the yellow hybrids. You can actually take the Agumon off the security from TK. This play is pretty cool. TK lets you grab anything. It's just, if it's not yellow, you don't get the recovery. So it does cost him, essentially 1 life. But that could technically be a benefit if he's got TK and Kari or something like that. On the other hand, we have yellow hybrid with like the standard purple base for access to Shortless R and, I guess Gasimons and whatnot. And he's also off to a pretty good start. Rookie, Boko, and the TK, so both players gonna have TK, no memory choken. There's the Agumon we saw. I don't think that the Agu players play other rookies, like it's just the that specific Agumon, I'm pretty sure. But not bad setup. He does have the TK and Kari. Like I said, he's gonna be getting extra memory for sure. That said though, I wonder if he might get rushed down because of it. We'll see if the yellow player has like a Zoe here, for example, to really keep up that pressure. The Gasimon might be chilling for a bit. But yeah, I wonder how this matchup goes. It's not something you see a lot. Yellow hybrid's already not super popular. Gassi swings into a Zoe, but there's no targets. Sometimes, it just feels bad when your Zoe isn't anything, but like, maybe it's too good when it gets a hybrid out of the security, right? So I guess it goes both ways. Okay, we're gonna see what the yellow player can do. I think that his best play, I was gonna say is just, set up more tamers and try and set up, for like lethal, because it's already pretty aggressive. Gonna Digivolve over the TK. This feels bad when you have to do it, but usually you do this because you have another TK to set up. I'm gonna go with TK and Kari instead, and then get another Boko. Doesn't swing with the Casimon either, so it's just committed to making a pretty wide board. I guess if there's an Atomic Blaster, you can only clear Casimon and then an additional Digimon, or all 3 rookies. I guess if you take out all 3 rookies, like that's a good way to clear the board. So I'm not sure I love this play, but on the other hand, it kind of forces your opponent to have that answer right, because now if the Agu player doesn't have a board clear, then surely he's just gonna die next turn to a bunch of swings. Okay, has to swing over the Gassi, get at least 1 body off the board. Maybe he's got a Jet Sylphie and then he'd be at 4 security and feel a lot more safe. He did get a ton of memory to work with this turn. Okay, so the Gassi's out. Double Boko is kind of annoying. I wonder if he plays like Lightning Paw or something like that. But I guess, if he had a card like that, he would just clear the Gassi with it, of course. It does have the Jet Sylphie. Jet Sylphie just feels like the cornerstone of all these, yellow hybrid shenanigans. It's just such a powerful card. And I know Yellow Hybrid didn't get to shine too much in our BT7 format, even though it's still a fine deck. But going into the future of Digimon, I think you're seeing more and more Jet Sylphie because it's just such a strong card. Okay, he goes into the Bond of Bravery. Does have to trash to security. Jet Sylphie does help mitigate that. And then he's gonna be able to check for 3 trash in 1, and then 1 check plus 1 from the security. Also gets the on deletion, of course. But he's gonna let both the Bokos rock. Gets into a TK. That's a fantastic hit for the yellow hybrid player. Like, he had just given up his TK and now he's gonna get it right back. So really good hit for him. It's also another tamer, which could represent another attack, and hits into a tactical retreat for that sweet recovery. The power of the heal for yellow hybrid just so strong. Kind of funny because like these are both yellow hybrid decks basically, right? Goes into a TK. But now with only 2 security, 2 Bokos, and 2 tamers on the board, I mean, that may just be game, right? We'll have to see how yellow sequences his attacks to try and play around Atomic Blaster or something like that. But we did see one of it get trashed from the security by the Bond of Bravery. So in this case, you want to you want to get the memory before your Bokos potentially die. The first hit could hurt, but I mean, it's probably okay. So I think this game is a good example of how you have to be careful managing your security. You know, the Agu took a bunch of self damage from the TK and then from the Bond of Bravery, which made it easier for Yellow Hybrid to close the game out. I also want to point out that, you know, he did go into the Bond of Bravery as a way to clear the board and push some damage. But in this case, if it was the Bond of Friendship, he would have fully cleared the whole board because he could have, you know, tucked all 3 Digimon. While the Bond of Bravery, you can only answer 1 Digimon with its effect, right? That said, I still think the Agu version is better than the Yellow Gabu, but there's some stuff to think about, right? Like, Bond of Friendship is really good at clearing the board, but the red, you know, you get to play Atomic Blaster and Atomic Inferno, which are, you know, pretty powerful cards. And the Bond of Bravery is actually a really good finisher because, you know, it also checks 3, but it trashes 1, so you can avoid some security shenanigans, which is nice. But yeah, that was a pretty solid game for Yellow Hybrid. He honestly didn't have to do too much, just good management of his tamers and pretty solid aggression with the Boko spam. Now we're going into game 2 here. We're going to see if the Agubond can bounce back. I think it's cool that the yellow bond decks are a thing. Like, you don't see people play regular bond decks, but you see quite a bit of the yellow ones, right? So I think it's interesting. Like, you know, I think these are decks that, like, when Banda was making cards, they probably didn't expect people to combine them together, but it definitely does work. It's cool to see that, you know, happen, and I wonder what else, what other mix of archetypes we might be able to see in the future. We see the Zoe for the start, picking up that pre-release Jet Sylphie, so, you know, gotta flex, I respect it. Good start in their hand, and a TK and Kari. Okay, so last game they both sort of opened with TK. This game around, we're not seeing that, so we might actually be able to see some memory choke. We see a second Zoe showing up, this time taking the also pre-released Zephyrmon. So at first you grab the Jet Sylphie because, you know, I guess she's key, but then you still need the level 4. Just a bunch of tamers set up, I guess. I mean, decks are similar in that way, and they both have the Yellow Hybrid package. Goes into a Zephyr. Sometimes it feels bad when you have to Digivolve over your Zoe and you're not able to go into the Jet Sylphie right away because it's just so strong, and like there's the risk like, oh well, what if my Digimon gets cleared, right? But in this case, like, he put his one into 1, and like the only way he would clear that is like with an Atomic Blaster or something, which would pass over quite a bit of memory. So I think you're okay with that. And then next turn he can go into the Jet Sylphie. You know, it only costs 1 and he still gets the recovery, which is pretty solid. I guess he might not do that, however, because of the opponent with the double TK and Kari. So if you're gonna heal, you're actually gonna just pass over so much memory. An extra 4 memory every turn would be huge. So I like the Yellow Hybrid's play to just, you know, take it slow, wait, and try and, you know, come up with a like a game plan later on where he might be swinging for more. Okay, you can see another Zoe, but at least now the Yellow Hybrid player does have the TK. He can, you know, get more bodies on the board. Maybe he's got like Bokos or something like that. Could still just try and memory choke though, it is possible. It's just like, you know, going into Jet Sylphie is super awkward because of TK and Kari's. Instead it goes into the Rise Greymon. Ooh, I like it. Rise Greymon lets you play a tamer for free. You don't get the on play, but I mean, it's still pretty nice. Because when he has a tamer, maybe he didn't, right? I guess he did not have a tamer. And then goes into a Casimon. Okay, yeah, so stays going wide. And if the Agubond player plays his own, you know, Jet Sylphie, then he kind of invites, yeah, the other player to also match him to 6 security. So this might just become a real grindy game. Yeah, so now we're at 6 security to 5. Rise Greymon also has a pretty solid inheritable. I don't know if it's gonna, you know, come up too often, but it definitely can for Yellow Hybrid. Oh, it goes into the Seraphimon. Okay, so a bit of the old spice. When the format started, you know, we saw people experiment with a bunch of different level 6s for Yellow Hybrid. The old BT1 Seraphimon was one of them for some extra aggression. We also saw, you know, the EX, or not the promo, whatever it's called, the other Seraphimon, right? I feel like over time they kind of like fell out. But the Seraphimon's still pretty good. Okay, just a bunch of tamers being set up for the Agubond. But now it's 4 bodies. The Seraphi is going to be checking for at least 2, right? I think it's for every 3 you get +1 security, so... Ooh, a Susanomon. That's a spicy one. Okay, yeah, just forces out the immediate Gaia Force. Cannot let that Susano rock. Pretty funny. Would have been just way too much damage, right? In that case, I feel like Susano's still fine because he cleared the body and then he ate the Gaia Force, which, you know, gave back a bunch of memory. Obviously, in that case, you'd rather have your Susano one live, but even with him dying, I think that's okay. I guess the Yellow Hybrid player doesn't have more Tamers, right? Because, like, yeah, you'd rather go wide with Tamers. Now, Boko's definitely going to pick up some Tamers. No Hybrid, but he could take either Kari or I believe that's another Zoe, right? And Boko's a great way to go wide because, like, Boko pays for itself since he, you know, gives you the cards. And then if they don't clear it, he lets you go into a Hybrid for free. And if they clear it, like, it's not that big a deal because, like, it's Boko, right? He already did his thing. So Boko, you know, such a scary card. Definitely one of the best cards of the format. See the Zoe. Okay, so the Agu player never actually got a like TK, so he has been getting memory choked. He has to promote the Agumon to get some memory, so he has some place to work with. But now he's facing, you know, 5 Digimon plus 2 Tamer potential, which is super scary. Even adds 6 security. And I guess he's fine. He just plays another TK and Kari. Essentially telling his opponent, like, whenever you're gonna swing, you better finish the game. If not, he's gonna pass over so much memory. But I mean, I think the Yellow Hybrid can just finish it off, right? He's got so many bodies. So, I mean, I guess the security in red could definitely save him, right? Like, one Atomic Blaster could just take away so many of these. Goes into a Zephyr first to get that Boko memory. Elecmon swings, was able to clear the Agu. So far, so good. At least taking the Agumon off the board seems like the right play, and he guaranteed got his Boko memory as well. Still has 5 swings and a Hybrid, which, you know, if everything goes according to plan, would just be enough for game. So I guess it's all gonna come down to what's insecurity, right? I don't know if the Agu players are playing the Tactical Retreat, but that is something in security that could save him. We also saw he does play Gaia Force, of course. Okay, yeah, at this point it's just swing one at a time. Like, I think you're committed to just be swinging at this point. There also could potentially be a TK that does an extra damage. That definitely can happen. Okay, hits a bunch of Zoes. Just to hit with the Jet Selfie first, it dies. And at this point, it's just gonna be Hybrid for game. So, pretty interesting game. Yellow Hybrid against the Agu. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.